morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Digital Order to Cash, a Roadmap to Cash Application Automation, Part 3. Happy customers, happy shareholders. My name is Linda Herbst, Senior Marketing Administrator at NACM Connect. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You are listening in using your computer speaker system by default. If you would prefer to join over the phone, just select telephone in the audio pane, and the dial-in information will be displayed. You will have the opportunity to submit questions to today's presenters by typing in your questions into the questions pane of the control panel. You may type your questions at any time during the presentation. Questions will be answered at the end of today's presentation. I would now like to introduce Veena Gundevelli. Veena Gundevelli is the founder and CEO of Emagia Corporation. She is an award-winning serial technology entrepreneur with extensive experience in the fields of artificial intelligence, data analytics, and automation for enterprise financial services. I'm also introducing Murray Kane. Murray is the Director of Digital Order to Cash Solutions at Emagia. He has over 16 years of experience in finance and order to cash transformation, as well as leading the digital solutions deployment to large strategic accounts. Today's presentation's handouts will be emailed to all registrants, along with a link to a recording of today's webinar. I will now hand the presentation over to Veena.
Thank you, Linda. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a beautiful morning, and good to see all of you join us today. We hope in the next 60 minutes, we will be able to share with you a lot more details about digital order to cash. This is the third part of our series of the 3 presentations that we have done. And the first part was on digital credit. The second part was on digital collections. This part, the part 3, is on digital cash application, and all 3, credit, collections, and cash applications, we have covered this under the banner digital order to cash. So with this, let's dive into a little more detail about the topic here. But before I dive into the topic, a quick introduction about who we are, what we do. I'm Veena Gundevelli, the founder CEO of Emagia. Emagia is a software company, and it's a cloud software company where we deliver our solutions, for cloud-based order to cash automation. Our solution has been around since more than 10 years, and we have deployed our application for several accounts receivables teams, as well as shared services and global business services. Many companies in many industries have been using our software to automate order to cash, credit, collections, and cash applications outside of the business. Again, we have customers around the globe, and this software is deployed for several thousands of users and in multiple languages, in multiple currencies. A little bit again on the Emagia platform, we have 6 major modules: credit automation, receivables automation, collections automation, deductions and disputes automation, cash application automation, and then finally, customer self-service portal, or the EIPP portal, is what we have. 6 different modules. And again, our core value proposition is bringing automation, analytics, and AI in our platform. So that's a little bit about what we do. And with that, also just mentioning that, we work with customers to take them through a digital journey, taking the process, from manual operations to all the way to digital, data-driven, intelligent, and finally adding digital assistants to become a cognitive operation. We focus around how to improve the 5 Cs, the customer experience and customer satisfaction being the number one, and then of course the cost reduction, increasing controls, improving cash flow, and then improving compliance. So we bring in all the 5 elements for the digital transformation. So with that, let me dive right into the topic of today. Topic of today again is digital order to cash, and just a quick reminder. I know we are all in the lockdown period, or just beginning to get out of the lockdown period, but still experiencing a lot of work from home. So it's Emagia, in response to the COVID situation, we have put out some free digital tools to help the accounts receivable teams. We have 3 tools right now available. Please feel free to upload or download these tools. Digital credit application forms, digital remittance capture tools to do OCR and scanning of your cash application remittances, and then of course the digital collections tools. So please feel free to sign up for these and get some help from the Emagia team. I will be happy to help. So now with that, diving into today's session, we will cover the essential elements of cash application. And then we'll go briefly into overall, how all the 3 credit, collections, and cash applications come together on the digital order to cash. And we'll cover some, how to go about these particular projects. So, as just to for a quick recap or a refresh of the memory. In the last 2 sessions, we have covered one, the digital credit automation. In that, I've covered the 10 essentials of digital credit automation, where we, again, discussed each of these 10 topics, right from online credit applications to digital signatures to reference checks to all the way till, periodic portfolio analysis to productivity bots and digital assistants. How, when you are considering for digital credit automation, these are the 10 things that must go into your checklist to see how you can leverage these, 10 different elements of digital credit, within your process. Again, there is a entire, webinar that we have done on this. Please feel free to go to the NACM website or the Emagia website and feel free to download, the details of these 10 essentials of digital credit automation. In the part 2, in the last webinar, we covered the 10 essentials of digital receivables. So here we focus primarily around, again, the portfolio management, the collections management, correspondence management, all the way to, disputes and, cash flow forecasting. Again, all of these 10 different elements are focused around how do you tighten the entire credit, the collections and the dispute resolution process. So, again, when you're considering an automation process for your collections and deductions processes, these are the 10 elements that you can, include in your checklist to evaluate vendors or, to put together your project plans. Once again, I think the part 2 webinar is also out there on the NACM Connect website as well as on the Emagia website. Please feel free to take this particular information in more detail. Now, coming to today's topic, again, I think, more to do with the cash, cash application side of the business. Again, our goal is, to put all of these together for driving, order to cash efficiency, to reduce DSO, to reduce credit risk, bad debt write-off, and, improving several other metrics within your organization. Now, coming to the cash application, so let's look at the current status cash application. In many companies, first and foremost, there are one or more financial systems out there. So what that means is, your data is coming from, multiple different systems, and you have multiple different bank accounts. You have multiple different log boxes, for example, or you could be having remittance information coming in email and, several different sources. All of that information today in many companies, current state is very disparate, loosely organized, very much, inefficient in many cases. So automation definitely is a big boost for efficiency. And what we are going to be talking about today, as we did in the last two webinars, is how do you bring automation, analytics, and AI, the new generation technologies, to bring tremendous amount of efficiency and tremendous amount of automation within your order to cash process. So with that, again, I'll not get into a whole lot of the future of finance. I think some of these topics again we did speak about in the last couple of webinars in a lot more details, but the whole goal is how do we get ourselves to whole new digital and automated states. So again, I'll skip this one. So coming to the digital cash applications essentials, first and foremost, today most of the cash application teams are spending time on activities such as taking information from email and creating Excel spreadsheets, or going to customer websites, gathering that information, creating that Excel spreadsheets, and a whole lot of manual activities. But the big reality right now, especially COVID and after, is digital is taking a leap forward in a major way, and the cash application team cannot afford to be sitting behind in a very manual activities mode. We got to get into a very automated mode. So here are the 10 essentials a cash application team must include into automating their everyday processes. So we're going to cover 10 different elements today. The first one, data gathering. This is about bringing information together from all the different resources to, first of all, prepare for cash application. And then we're going to talk about, I think, the integrations with banks, integrations with external systems. We'll talk about OCR and data capture. We'll talk about automated invoice to payment and remittance matches. We'll talk about how do you deal with the fallouts, which is the unmatched payments. And then we'll talk about dispute and deductions resolution, especially for overpayments or short payments. And again, various different ways of handling split payments and other aspects. We'll talk about dynamic reporting, cash forecasting, forecasting on your receipts, for example, and then of course predictive analytics and digital dashboards. So the first and foremost, the first element is data gathering. Today, in most cases for a cash applications, where do you find the payment information and the remittance information, right? So in the data gathering, again, in this portion, I'm focusing more on the remittance gathering. So where is the remittance gathering right now? So today, again, a lot of customers within their own portals, right? Within their vendor management portals, whether it is an Ariba portal or a TradeShift or a Coupa or any of these portals. Today they are publishing the information about what payments they're doing, which invoices they're paying for you, and then the remittance information. So most of the cash application teams today are having to go to these different portals, log into these portals, and then download information from these portals in a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet, and having to again do some sort of a data entry. That's a big problem right now and very inefficient. The second is a lot of information comes in email or attachments, as a PDF. Typically, when an ERP system processes a payment, you receive an automated, message, from the accounts payable that, so and so particular invoice got paid, and or here are the set of invoices that got paid in the recent ACH or a wire information, and that piece of information comes as a PDF form or some sort of a scan form in your email. So likewise, customer communications on, hey, we just sent you the check, and here are the details of the check, etc. All that comes in the email. So a big portion of the cash application team's time is actually spent in gathering this information from these various different systems, that are actually not your financial system, but all these external systems. So a big portion of gathering this information, is today in a very, very inefficient manner. So the first element of automation is, again, having technologies with capabilities to gather this and make this available, at your fingertips. Today, with the advent of digital technologies with artificial intelligence, you can have, again, good systems, order to cash platform systems do have bots that can go gather these information from external sites. They have bots, to read the emails and the attachments and bring all of this information together. So the first and foremost is reduce your, activities and bring this all together, with the digital technologies. In most cases, people may not know and may think that this is a very complex, activity. But in today's AI-driven systems, all of these activities are being done by the systems and by the bots within the system. So that's the first element. So the second element is, again, an interface to the banks and the checks. So, today the payment information, comes, from the banks, with again, I think the bank statements, and the, we can have credit card statements or the bank statements, where the information is, coming, directly as a electronic download. So instead of, reading the paper-based statements, today automated systems can bring in all of this information from the banks and from the credit card companies in an automated manner. Likewise, you can have your the bank, the logbox information in two ways. One is you can have your logbox, files, such as the image files, the scan check information files directly, given out to you. And today's AI systems are able to scan these documents and extract that information, out from you. We'll talk about that in a little more detail. The other is if you're already having, a logbox that is giving you information in the BI2 format, go ahead and, take that information, explore how you can, connect that, directly to your cash application system. That will save you a lot of time, bringing in, the details for cash application posting. So likewise, for whether it is MT940, statements, from your bank, or whether your EDI 820 or electronic bank statements. Today banking has gone digital, and many banks are giving data in formats that are consumable. And this is where again applying these kind of technologies to bringing this information from banks, from log boxes, from credit card companies as an automatic download will save tremendous amount of manual work that today many companies experience. They're all gathering information. Literally 60 to 70% of the cash application team's time goes in terms of gathering this information and preparing the information for the for the teams to process. So again, if once you have all of that in an automated manner, so what you have again with the first element, you have bringing all the the payment portal, remittance advisors, bringing the email-based PDF information, all of that into one place. That's the first one. The second one, we talked about how do you get payment information from the banks, from this credit card statements all together at one place. That's the second element that we've talked about. The third element is now that you have that PDFs with you, or that logbox images with you, how do you extract information? And today again, there's a lot of manual activities that people go through, where it's a copy paste, or sometimes they do scanning, and even from the scanning they do the copy paste of the information that got extracted. A lot of again manual activity goes on over there. The third big element is the automated data capture. Today with AI, we have systems, for example, with Emagia, we have a system called 𝗔𝗽𝗽𝗆𝗏, where it's a simple, optical character recognition scanner, but with a human-like learning capabilities, which means that, hey, I have a bank statement or I have a logbox, image with checks and, with check stubs, and various different formats from different customers. Today, the AI systems are able to read the checks, they're able to read the check stubs, and able to bring that information into a simple Excel spreadsheet saying, here is what we find in these documents. Think about the time savings. If you are able to, scan, 100 checks, or 1,000 checks, in the matter of, few seconds, and the system automatically creating, all of the information from the checks in a neatly formatted Excel spreadsheet. That's a huge time saving, as well as, that's a huge, savings in bank fees. Today a lot of companies pay, additional bank fees to convert the logbox images and the check images into information that they can consume, right? So you have the the bank fees, the logbox the data entry fees, all of that. All of that can be saved by these AI tools that are emerging in a very fast order today, where you simply give the logbox images file, or you simply give the check images file, and these systems are able to extract all of this and prepare the files for you in minutes. This is a huge time saver, and this is a big leap forward with today's technologies, that you will be able to save tremendous amount of time on gathering this information from checks and from from remittance advisors. Now we have covered again gathering of all of this information. So once you have all of this information, we have the payment information, you have the remittance information, you get the invoice information from the ERP systems. So now the next big step is how can you find matching information, meaning how can you find which check has to be posted against which invoice, or which wire has to be posted against, one or more invoices. How do you find that out? Again, applying advanced digital technologies today, you will be able to, have a system that can automate, this application. The system will be able to find the appropriate match. If there is a check, for example, it will be able to find, this check, which customer does it correspond to, for example, what is the micro number here and what is the payment, payer name and the payer address. And then the systems today are able to match, hey, I want to match to, payer payee account. And, this payer payee has, so many open invoices, and this can go to these 3 different invoices. The system is now able to, again, able to find the corresponding invoices. And in some cases, find an exact match saying, hey, this, $200 invoice can be matched with this $200, check, and there is only one invoice to be matched. In other cases, it may be able to even recommend that this $200 check may be applied to these 3 different invoices, and it will quickly bring it up for your review that, hey, do you want to match this for these 3 different invoices, right? So intelligent systems are now emerging, and this is where you can put your own auto matching rules, you can enhance those rules, or the system, can learn, using some of these artificial intelligence-based principles to see what are the past experiences, where did you apply this payer's checks, to which customers did you apply, and which type of invoices did you apply. And the system will automatically be able to give you suggestions or bring up to you to, do you want me to post for these, 3 different invoices, right? That's a tremendous power that these AI technologies can bring up to you and make, again, this matching process a much faster, process for you. So the 4th element of your cash application automation system should be, again, this automated matching engine. And one of the things that you can look at is, hey, what is the match rate that it is giving? How many are you able to match 90% of the transactions, automatically? Are you able to enhance, this particular match rate over a period of time? Is the system self-learning? All of those aspects, go into this 4th element, which is the automated matching engine. Now, once you're done with the matching, the big portion or a big element, that you need to be looking at is how do you deal with, unmatched, payment receipts. You need to have a proper workbench, to be able to see, hey, which transactions or which receipts did not match, and how many of them are overpays, how many of them are short pays, how many are unidentified, that you're not able to do anything, and which ones, are having deductions or disputes, and some sort of a reconciliation between the payments and the receipts. All of that pieces of information, needs to be on the workbench. So today, as a cash application, teams spend more and more time on gathering the information. With the automated tools, you're now, reducing the gathering of information, and now with the workbench, this becomes your everyday, where you need to spend the time to see, hey, the system has automatically taken care of 90% of the automated payments or automated matching. Now, your energy will be spent on this 10% of fallouts, and the workbench should be able to give you enough functionality to deal with these fallouts to see, what can you do to, help reduce, these, these receipts and payments issues. So that's the, essentials of Workbench. Now, so from these, fallouts that we're talking about, some of the payments, turn out to be short pays. Some are, maybe a customer, did not want to pay for shipment, for example, or maybe a customer took a 10% off because of a previous, deduction that was promised. So likewise, there could be a number of reasons, why you got a short pay. Now, in today's systems, you should be, again, the systems have capabilities to, mark up, what is the reason for the short pay. And in some cases, the system should be able to see, maybe there is a, this $20, of shipment, but did not come. So hence, I'm going to mark this up as a potential, short pay for, shipments. Or another one, maybe customer did not pay the tax line item on this particular invoice. Maybe this should go into resolving the tax line item issue. So again, marking up your short payments and overpayments is a very important aspect. So how do you handle that? Your system, should have a proper way of, first of all, putting reason codes on your disputes and deductions. And a big portion of, a good automated system should have ability to, put your own custom codes and also give definitions of under what conditions a short pay or an overpay will go into a particular reason codes. And once, you set that up, you should, the system will automatically, start, detecting, hey, this short pay is having a, shipment, shipment issue or short payment for shipments, and hence it has to go to these 3 different people, for, approval routing, for example, right? So you can set up a whole workflow and help it resolve. Today, in again, a good in best practices and a good automated systems cases, we have companies that deploy this this type of functionality to collaborate with sales, with customer service, as well as with other other external team members, external to the cash application team, right? So the cash application team, again, will be able to interact with the sales or collectors or with customer service to figure out the right way to handle the short payment and, mark it up, for, additional claims or, again, write-off. So, in good, good automated cases, we have customers, roll this out for, maybe about 500 salespeople and, customer service people. In some cases, we have, thousands of, users, involved in terms of, ability to see what's happening in the account and resolve it, right? So a good system, needs to have a very collaborative deductions and dispute resolution. And the next portion of it is, again, having a tool that can give you reporting across, all aspects of cash application. So what that means is ability to very quickly drill down into what are the total payments that you have received, what are the total remittance information pieces that you have received, how are the amounts matching up, what is the total automated rate, for example, are you able to have, 90-95% straight through, and which log boxes are, which bank accounts are able to, get this kind of a, straight through processing information. How is your cash posting happening? How much is unapplied? How much is, applied? how much is matched, unmatched, all of those pieces of information, you will be able to, drill down, with a good reporting tool. So good reporting tool is a must in your overall process. From there, let's dive a little bit into how you can leverage analytics. So now that the cash application tool has information about all the cash that is coming in and all the invoices that are being generated, using analytics, today's cash application systems are able to give you short-term cash flow forecasting on your receipts. And this is where, again, the cash application teams and the treasury teams, they are able to see the, the cash flow in a rolling window forecast, next 6 weeks, week by week. What do I expect when customers, pay on time as per the payment terms? How does it look like? How does my ideal forecast look like? Or, hey, the customers on time, but they may be paying, as per their payment behavior, for example, right? So if they repeated their payment behavior, what do I expect, with this payment behavior? What do I expect, my ideal forecast to be, right? So all of those pieces of information you will be able to get in a good cash flow forecast. Again, more and more cash flow forecast is getting automated, and handling this piece of information and providing this piece of information to your treasury for working capital management is a huge value addition your cash application can do to your organization. The ninth element we will cover is on predictive analytics. Now that you have the receipts and the remittances, the short pays, overpays, the system, today's system, especially with AI, just like how when you're within your smartphone you have AI, when you type a spelling error, for example, or a grammatical error, the system automatically corrects you, right? So that's one form of artificial intelligence. So that type of artificial intelligence is now going into cash application systems, where it now tells you this payment receipt it potentially has so and so dispute or a deduction reason. And I think that sort of intelligence is now coming up into these systems. That's a great functionality to have, because just by looking at a receipt transaction now, the smart systems are able to now give you hey, we got a $200 check from so and so customer. It's potentially for this particular invoice, and by the way, maybe potentially this is a short pay, and the customer may not have paid for the shipping information for the shipping line item, for example, right? So that sort of intelligent predictive systems are emerging, and especially as you look for automation and taking things forward into the next the next revolution, digital revolution. I would absolutely encourage you to consider predictive analytics as a big portion of your automation. So put that in your checklist as you're evaluating your systems. The last element of this is digital dashboards and insights. So again, the role of cash application teams with these systems, is getting shifted from doing the everyday data gathering to data entry to all of that to more and more towards, the workbench, the reporting, the dashboards, to be able to get that information, to be able to process the information and understand the insights, saying, hey, maybe this particular business unit, we are constantly getting issues on, short payment, due to some promotional, trade promotions. Maybe so-and-so business unit, we are constantly getting, short payments, because of, shipping issues. Maybe do we need to relook at the shipping carrier, for example? Or, so-and-so business unit, we are having, overpayments, or issues with payments, because of maybe of some product line issues. Again, there could be a number of different reasons. So good digital dashboards, give you all of these insights. They give you a whole host of information of your data. Your data is gold and the data is oil. And you're now able to, again, take this data and derive valuable insights and take it to your organizations. So a good cash application automation system should have, digital dashboards and drill down capabilities for deriving the insights. So with this, again, a quick recap, 10 elements of order to cash. Cash application automation is what we have covered. We've covered, going from, gathering the remittance information, gathering the payment information. We've covered AI for doing OCR and processing your, receivables and logbox remittance information. We have covered, the disputes and, deductions management. We have covered automated, invoice to payment to remittance matching. We have covered dynamic reporting. We've covered digital dashboards, and we've also covered predictive analytics, right? 10 different elements. And again, we'll be happy to, give you a lot more detail on these 10 elements and walk you through the process. Both NACM Connect and Emagia, we have tremendous expertise in these, 10, essential areas of digital automation for cash application. We'll be happy to guide you in this particular process. So with that, I will hand this over to 𝗪𝗁, and 𝗪𝗁 will walk you through how you bring, the entire order to cash process into the digital age, bringing together credit, collections, and cash app, all of them on one singular digital platform. So with that, over to you, 𝗪𝗁.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you, everyone, for joining this series. As Veena had mentioned, during the course of these webinars, we've reviewed the 10 elements of credit, collections, and now cash applications. These elements include digital technologies which companies need to explore: artificial intelligence, robotics, process automation, machine learning, advanced analytics, or just to name a few. Next slide, please. So COVID right now, we've all been in kind of a static period and really not sure where we want to go or where we need to head, but there's definitely been a shift of the paradigm in AR. The COVID pandemic has accelerated the demand for digital solutions. Most were moved from the office into work from home environments. This has changed how companies work internally and pushed companies to focus on digital solutions. The future of business will be digital, with continued remote work, automation ingrained in every part of the order-to-cash financial supply chain. AR operations will continue to move forward towards digital services, and order-to-cash will have outcome as a focus of each digital initiative. This means expanded focus on metrics. Typically, there we go, same slide. DSO, which is typically the indicator, but digital disruptors will push for views of other metrics, such as collections efficiency, to measure and adjust how collections strategies are working or not working and being able to pivot on demand. New customer credit with prediction on default and actuals. How quickly cash is posted and the reduction of suspense accounts, as well as turnaround time on deductions and short payment resolutions. Automation will shift companies from a manual to automated, focusing on higher value activities and exceptions rather than non-value added functions. AI-driven analytics. I believe that this is the most important tool for companies post-COVID and going forward. Not just for information. Companies already have static reports that display what happened in the month or prior quarter. Companies need to know what could happen with behavioral forecasting and cognitive machine learning to give predicted insights at a macro and micro level within their business. Predictive customer behavior improves collections and allows for collections adjustment for strategies, prioritization, and for maximum use of resources. Predictive transactions for improved deductions and resolution of issues. Increase the auto match rate with cognitive data capture and AI-based matching rules engines. Analytics will give insight into these processes and allow for action-based decisions. Bringing in cognitive digital assistants will be a supplemental to the workforce, and in many ways will be the first line in communication with customers. They'll have many valuable uses within the automation shift of organizations. Customers more than ever want mobile communication, quick answers, and so do companies. The digital assistant will drive company efficiency, is easily integrated into financial systems, and is multilingual. Each area of the order-to-cash function, the digital assistant will play a vital role in the automation of low-value activities, freeing employees to focus on customer issues and improving performance. Next is robotics process automation, also known as RPA or digital bots, play a key role in a company's digital toolkit. Bots improve productivity by performing tasks. They fit into the overall digital process by retrieving information such as license verification, tax-exempt verification in the credit process. They post invoice to customer portals and retrieve remittance information from those customer portals, which assist in cash applications and deductions. Bots also have the ability to fetch proof of delivery and BLL information from different freight carriers, all in an effort to reduce and shorten deduction turnaround time. Digital credit operations. Credit departments should not have to fax credit applications any longer and fill filing cabinets with credit files. The credit application can be completely digital and customized to your business. It's mobile friendly, and it can be a link that's placed on your website. Digital signatures, reference checks, and validations should become the standard for your business. Credit decisions should include internal, external data to create your unique scorecard for automation of credit scoring, leaving the more complex cases for manual review. Cognitive order review can assess the risk of each order during the process, again, freeing up for manual review and intervention. Customers should build rules for cases in which manual intervention is wanted versus automated for the rest of the process. Predictive risk monitoring is invaluable for businesses today and going forward. You need to have the visibility into your operations and feel confident in the decisions you make to optimize your company's performance. Companies who still have customers who request paper invoices should incentivize them to make a change to some form of electronic invoicing. Companies should work with customers to enhance invoicing to digital formats to speed the delivery of invoices. EIPP or digital bots can directly post invoices into customer portals. Companies can provide customer self-service portals for retrieval of statements, invoices, make payments, and disputes. Collections managers should have clear visibility into their team's performance, especially in a remote work environment. Managers should be able to see collections goals, manage those goals, and understand and see where their targets are to be able to influence and make corrections as needed on the fly with the visibility within their collections departments. They should be able to pivot based on the collection strategies and the efficiencies of their customers and understand customer payment behavior. This is essential to take your collections from a reactive department to a proactive and efficient area of your business. Cash applications. We'd covered this, but for one more time, is a cognitive data capture to eliminate manual effort and data capture and consolidation. Companies spend unnecessary time and effort downloading data and storing them in folders, which is difficult to search and find the data necessary when needed. Digitizing this data not only provides efficiency, but improves overall cash applications performance. Your cash applications tool should include AI to increase straight-through automation, multiple match criteria, and use built-in rules to handle tolerances, reason codes to provide details for deductions, such as tax, freight, and other short pays to speed the resolution for any type of deductions or short payments. Then digital insights. Customers need more than just static reports. Showing what has happened in the past, or combining Excel sheets with macros or an Access database, it just doesn't work for where we're at post-COVID or in the digital future. Customers need on-demand data in the form of visual dashboards, which represent current trends and then predictive data across the order supply chain. Information which is actionable is essential to stay ahead of our changing economic factors. And then a quick review of a case study. This company is a global shared service company with 46 different business units across 40 countries, comprising of many languages to operate their business. They had over 130 bank accounts with over 1.5 million transactions. They took the digital journey. They implemented many of the 10 elements presented in this series and dramatically improved their performance in current AR, automated cash applications, and credit risk assessment. You do not have to be a large company to utilize digital tools. Many tools are very economical and require little to no IT resources, such as a digital credit application, 𝗔𝗽𝗽𝗆𝗍 cognitive digital tool. Deploying digital solutions in your organization will increase efficiency, improve performance, allow for better decision-making, and improve speed to action, all of which makes for a happy returning customer.
So with this, we have covered all the 3-part series, the 10 essentials for credit automation, 10 essentials for digital receivables and collections. Part 3, the 10 essentials of digital cash application.
Okay.
So hopefully we have presented some good information here. And as 𝗪𝗁 has mentioned, the future is digital. And according to a recent survey from IDC, about 60% of the accounts receivables teams and leaders are considering digital transformation. And if you're a team that is considering digital transformation, all of these 3 parts cover great amount of detail. Please feel free to download these webinars and white papers, and feel free to reach NACM Connect or Emagia for any of the details. And we wish you all success for your digital transformation. You are heading in the right direction, and you are taking your company in the right direction. And again, we want to support you in all shape or form. So thank you so much for attending our 3-part series. So with this, I'd like to open this for any questions the audience may have.
Hi, Veena. This is Linda. Thank you, Veena and 𝗪𝗁. If anyone has any questions, please type them into the questions pane of the control panel. You may also use the raised hand icon it will indicate to me that you have a question. Vina and Murray, anybody can contact you with the email address info@emagia.com. Is that correct?
That's correct, Linda. They can reach us at info@emagia.com. Feel free to mention our names, and we will immediately attend to them.
Then I also noticed on the bottom of your end slide that you seem to have a page on emagia.com devoted to COVID.
That's correct. So this is the page where we have our free digital tools available for every company to sign up and use it without, again, any payments or, any credit card sign-ups or anything of that sort. So please feel free to use our digital credit applications, our digital remittance processing tools, as well as the digital collections tools.
Okay, well, we wait for questions. So I am looking for questions. Please raise your hand or use the raised hand icon, or type your question into the questions pane of the control panel. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. Again, you can contact Emagia at info@emagia.com and take advantage of those free digital AI tools at emagia.com/COVID-19/. And Murray and Vina hopefully will come back in the future with another webinar. And thank you for everyone for attending. Thank you, Vina 𝗪𝗠𝗵𝗪 and Murray Kane, for the webinar today, Digital Order to Cash, a Roadmap to Cash Application Automation, Part 3. Happy customers, happy shareholders. Vina and Murray's contact information is available on screen. We will be sending you the handouts for this presentation along with a recorded link to today's webinar. Thank you, Vina and Murray.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Right. Have a great day.
Thank you, too. Bye-bye.